Hi, I'm DK Marie. I'm from Michigan and I write Michigan romances, contemporary romance, small town and city. I don't know, I'm a great writer because I write Michigan romances with hot romances with sweet guys.
I'm Wren West. I do small town, like, I don't want to call it cowboy romance, they're more like ranch romance, but I'm a great writer because you walk the fine line between heavy plot and heavy spice.
Hi, I'm Courtney. I'm from Indianapolis, so I did drive here this morning. I kind of forget everything I wanted to say. This is a celebrity romance series. It's complete. My next one is Small Town, comes out in April. ARC signups are open. I think I'm a great writer because I just started writing like a year and a half ago, and because of that, I feel like I've just really taken in a lot of craft, and I just love to read all the time, so that makes me a great writer.
I'm Megan Cousins. I'm from Flint, Michigan, just up the road a little ways. I am, I think, the only sports romance writer on the panel. Yeah, I'm the token sports romance writer. And what makes me a great writer, I think, is because I didn't give up when I was told to give up. So I write women the same way, that they keep fighting for what they want and they keep fighting for their love and their love of baseball. They're all baseball books.
Hi everybody, I'm Danielle Baker. I write all small town, sweet and spicy romances. And gosh, I guess I would say that I'm a great writer because I write real couples. I write flawed couples. Nobody is perfect in real life, and I like to make sure that that is apparent in books as well.
All right, and this is a question for everyone. Does your family know that you write romance? I'm wondering if there's, how that conversation went when you told them that you write romance and maybe some like sexy scenes. What was their reaction like?
My family does know. I just figured if I'm going to write steamy scenes, like first I have to get over the fact that they will read them. So if I can get over that, then I can get over and write exactly what I want to write. I can't be hindered by what people might think of my books, including my family. So they knew. I never asked them to read the books. My sister did, my mom did, and maybe I should have warned her because I did get that call so the first one I ever wrote was this one. And so my mom wanted to be supportive. She went and she read it. She didn't tell me, but I'm driving somewhere and I get that call, hey, I read your book. Nothing. So I was like, so you got to that chapter, huh? She's like, yeah, sure did. My daughter wrote this. It's like, and it's not the only chapter. She's like, another long pause, and okay. But she finished the book and she said it was great, so. And she's read all the other ones too.
My family is very much aware. I'm from a very small town, and I've done release events for each of my books at like our beer hall uptown. And my grandma is the first one in the door for each release event. And like there's a lot of similarities like that they pick up in the books that are from like my real life that like, a stranger reading it wouldn't know that like Stan's is the name of the hardware store in my town and also in the book. And they're like, well, we just pretend that that's where the similarities end.
My family does read them. My grandma also reads mine. My mother-in-law liked to tell the story where like I have bookmarks of my characters, and she told me that as she read my first one, she had to keep looking at the bookmark to picture the characters and not me and my husband.
But they're very supportive.
My family does know that I write romance. In fact, I write low spice to closed door romance, so there's nothing on page. And my dad is one of the first ones to buy every new book. His only criticisms are how I sometimes handle the baseball. So if the team loses that you didn't want to lose, I hear about it.
Yes, my family does know. I actually started writing when I was 16. I wrote my first novel when I was 16, and my family was my biggest supporters in my process of publishing. So they were the ones that said, do it, get out of your own head, get out of your own way, and just do it. They know.
And my next question is for DK. Can you talk about how you create attention-grabbing plots when everyone knows to expect like that happily ever after in romance? Like, how do you still keep the attention in the plot and the interesting dynamics?
I mean, when it comes to romances, we all know how it's gonna end. It's a happily ever after. So I feel like romance readers aren't there to find that plot twist at the end. If so, you would read thrillers. You're there for the journey. You all know how it's gonna end, but you wanna know how in the world they're gonna get there. So that's kind of where I come at it from is so usually I look at their wounds. I pick what is holding them back, and then from there, that's where the plot comes in because we all have them. Like, we all have wounds that get in our own way. So I start from there. They have to be big and they have to be relatable. So from there, once I know their wounds, then the plot kind of comes from that. That's what drives it because romances are character-driven stories and their own wounds are going to get in their way of both characters because I do dual POV, and that's how do I keep it fresh because as a romance writer, I'm also a reader and I know what I like. I want those twists and turns. I want to be turning and going, how in the hell are these two going to ever get together? How are they going to get out of their own way for their happily ever after? And like I said, it can't be something little. It has to be something big and it has to be something important and relatable.
All right, and then for Wren, second chance romances seem really hard to pull off because, you know, there has to be a reason for that relationship to fail the first time. So I'm wondering, how do you manage to write second chance romances that still result in that happily ever after?
I'm a big, I guess, believer in, I feel like a successful relationship is like 50% right person, but also 50% right time. So maybe that was the right person all along, it just wasn't the right time the first time. Like, you gotta live your life, and then if you come back together, then it's just meant to be. So, I mean, I'll never write a second chance where there was like infidelity or anything, because I feel like there's things that are just, you don't just get over that. And it's not believable to write a book that it's like, oh, I forgot about it, he's changed. Like, he didn't. But just that life brings you back together sometimes, and if it wasn't the first chance, maybe the second one's what's gonna stick.
For Courtney, secret dating and fake dating both are super fun romance tropes. What's the secret to creating those really fun, tense, and romantic little moments with those two tropes? And can you give us an example from one of your books?
So I am a huge fake dating fan and secret dating, and I feel like they're very similar. My first two are secret dating, and it's more just they have a lot of time to themselves. So it's a lot of like friendships that they just start dating and don't tell anyone about. And I think it's really special because they kind of get that time to themselves without the pressure of their friendships. So my first series is all celebrities, and so they just get like time out of the spotlight and they get to really learn about each other. And same with fake dating, and that one's a little bit more, you know, front and center than secret dating is more private. But it's all about that tension and the like private moments, but also the like, you know, I love you, but I don't love you at the same time. And then an example is my upcoming book is also fake dating because I just can't get enough. And it is a brother's best friend. And so it's one of those where he's back in town to take care of his grandpa in the record store. And he's been in love with Millie, who's the female main character, for like his whole entire life. And so they kind of get caught kissing in the closet because he's trying to like sway off the rest of the females in this small town. He's like, I'm not back for good. Please stop talking to me. So he's known Millie his whole life. So he's like, can you please just help me with this? And obviously she says yes. because he's hot and has tattoos.
And then for Megan, I think I can speak for a lot of readers when I say that, you know, we don't have to play a sport to read sports romance. I don't play baseball. So I am wondering, you know, how do you manage to weave in the sport aspect with the romance, and, you know, why do you think that it doesn't matter that we don't play these sports, but we're still super into the genre and into the books?
I also don't play baseball, but I grew up with a dad who loved baseball. Baseball was always on during the season. So it was just kind of always in the background of my daily life. I would do homework on the living room floor, baseball games on. And I just sort of fell into that. Grew up going to games with my dad, still, you know, we'll pick an afternoon game to go to together. And so it just kind of came naturally to me to write baseball. And in the writing of it, I think it's easy for us to kind of get into the books easier than it is to actually just sit down and watch a game, because your author hopefully is going to explain some things and maybe not be too baseball heavy, because you've still got the romance in there as well. So sports romances just in general, I've read some for sports that I wouldn't just sit down and watch, but to read the romance, the authors have inserted enough information that I can understand it. And I hope that I've done the same in my baseball romances, giving you enough background, but also giving you that romance as well, with baseball just kind of being a part of it, or whatever sport it is in your romance. Did that answer your question?
Great.
I feel like it.
And for Danielle, what are some of your favorite romance tropes, and how have you weaved them into your books?